Sessions with Dash. I have a great guest, man. This is my first time actually meeting him today, but I heard bits and pieces of his story, and we are all living a story, and we're all living in chapters. And I tell people, some of the most painful things that we go through and that we hold in for our whole entire life, those are going to be the chapters that motivate and impact and empower and inspire people. And it's important. Even though we are on a platform today and you guys are watching, I want you to think where you are today and what your story means to you and how you take your power back when you learn how to tell your story and when you're brave enough to tell your story. So Sessions with Dash is a digital safe space, and I would love you guys to give engagement, give feedback from the things that you hear and any lessons that you learn. So my guest is Carter.
Hey, how you doing, man?
How you doing, man? How you feeling?
I'm feeling good, man.
So, man, you told me some things, man, and you are a survivor, man. How did you do it, or how are you doing it?
Well, first from the grace and the will of God. So a little bit about my story. I've been shot 25 times altogether. So 2018, I got shot 7 times, but first in 2016, I got shot 18 times at once. Then 2 years later, I got shot again 7 more times. So altogether, I've been shot 25 times.
All right. So, as the guest and myself, we brace ourselves. Let's unpack the journey. How did you wind up in some of those situations? As far as your recovery mentally and emotionally. You know what I'm saying? Because when you think about people that go to war and army or the army or whatever the case, and they say they have a PTSD, so in real time, being shot for the first time, and the fact that you can say, oh, I got shot again, you know what I'm saying? Like, unpack these processes and these perspectives.
So the first time I got shot, once you're in the situation, looking back, I can see now how the PTSD and things of that affected me. But once I'm going through it, it really didn't affect me because I was in the streets. I was out there doing whatever I was doing in the streets. So I knew that lifestyle, that's what came with that lifestyle. So I accepted it, and I would say I was ready for whatever came. So once I unpacked everything and I look back at it, because I remember when I was shot up in the hospital the first time, and my mom said, whatever you're doing out here in the street, is it worth you getting shot? And at that time, the money I was making and the things that I was getting from it, I said to myself, yeah, it is. So later on down the line, my best friend passed away, my brother was killed, and when I look back, I say it wasn't worth them losing their lives over situations or choices that I made in the streets.
So looking back in hindsight, what was the perspective shift, and what do you understand now? As far as like whenever I'm mentoring and working with young men, sometimes you see your conversation go on deaf ears, and you can't get through to them. So, what landed now? Was it the trials and tribulations? Was it being forced to sit down and reflect?
Yeah, and it was maturity and recapping and looking back at my life, because us as young men, like I grew up in a single parent household, so I didn't have the father structure that I needed. And even as I had mentors in my life and coaches, but I wanted it from my actual dad. And being as though I couldn't get it, I went to other places to find it. So I was going to the streets and I was going places. So when I give back, like me and my mom going to schools now, talk to the youth, I try to give them the perspective, because wise people learn from others' mistakes and smart people learn from their own mistakes. I had to learn from my own mistakes, so I try to give them my life as an example of which ways not to go.
So, so you said you grew up in a single parent household.
Yeah.
What difference do you think your father's presence would have made? His presence would have made?
I feel like it would have made a big difference, because as women, they can't give us the structure that we need. Once we get a certain age, they can't discipline us like they need to, and that father presence gives you that fear of not wanting to do certain things, and it could deter you from going certain ways. So it's like you won't have to find yourself. You will help yourself. Your father will help you find the man that you need to become.
So take me back, right? So the first time you were shot, you said how many times?
18.
Okay. So what lessons didn't land? So did you go back to the streets after that first time?
Yeah.
What lessons didn't land? And take me through that process, you know, as far as being shot, hospital, what were the thoughts that went through your mind?
Well, I'm gonna take you back to the night.
Okay.
You know, I was sitting in the car. I pulled up in front of my house, and I was on the phone with my you would call her my side chick. So I was on the phone with her because I wanted to talk to her before I actually went in the house to my kid's mom and my son. So while I was sitting in the car, I had from the car I had like a BMW M6, so you could tell the lights from all the way down the street. So I was sitting with the car on, so I guess, because I was on a one-way block, so I guess they seen my lights from down the street, so they knew I was sitting in the car. So as I'm sitting in the car, I'm on the phone, and someone walked up on the passenger side and started shooting. So when the police found my iPhone, they said it's the first time they seen an iPhone with a bullet in it. So that first bullet actually would have hit me in my face, and I was actually on the phone, so the phone stopped the phone from bullet from hitting me in my face. So once I heard the shots, I didn't feel it. I guess my adrenaline was pumping, I just heard the shot, so my first instinct was to turn and get out the car. So once I turned to get out my car, that's when I started feeling them. I got shot 6 times in the back. As I was getting out the car, I was saying, ah. So I felt the bullets hit my back. So once I got up to get out the car, when I tried to walk, I fell. So I must have been getting shot in my legs while I was in the car. So I fell, and I guess he must have ran out of bullets, because as I fell, I seen him running back down the street. So my kid's mother's name is Joy. So as I seen him running down the street, I'm trying to crawl to my house in the street, and I started screaming my baby mom's name. I said, Joy, Joy. So I guess about a minute later, she comes running out the door, and she helped me. Like I put my arm over her shoulder, and she like kind of dragged me. We couldn't make it up the steps, so I made it to like halfway on the steps, and I was just shot up, bleeding. So her and my son was standing on the porch, and my mom was living around the corner. They called my mom. So I'd say the ambulance took about 30 minutes. So I'm just sitting there shot up. The police came before the ambulance. So I guess I started getting dehydrated. I asked for water. I told my son, give me a cup of water. The police said I couldn't drink. They wouldn't let him give me no water. So I always said I panicked as a kid. So I always said, if I get shot up, I'm gonna die, because you don't supposed to panic. And so I guess God actually helped me, because I couldn't run. My legs gave out, and then I couldn't see, so I couldn't panic and see the bullet holes. Because my mom said my shirt was up, you seen all the bullet holes in my stomach. Because I guess I was losing too much blood, my vision was blurry. I just could talk. So I'm actually on the steps, I'm telling my mom, take care of my son and my baby mother. I love everybody. I actually didn't think I was gonna make it. So, but I was alert the whole time.
Man, heavy process, man. And being that you actually experienced and lived the journey from all of these perspectives, when we think about our mothers, and our mothers trying to provide, and our mothers trying to do what they have to do to keep us safe, but the fact that your mother have to carry and hold that experience. You know what I'm saying? So I'm a father, you're a father, and when it comes to us being there, loving our kids, and never wanting them to be hurt, what would you speak to that? How would you speak to that, as far as the young men that put their life on the line every day? Like where was your mindset? Did you think it couldn't happen to you? Did you think you were invincible? How did you process putting your mother through that pain? And what would you say to young men that's going out there and not thinking about, I'm not saying you didn't think about your son or your mother, but the fact that you live the reality and you have the insight. Matter of fact, if you were sitting next to you, what would you tell you? And that's allowing that conversation to be spoken to other young men that's not thinking about their mother or their children when they're putting the money or other things before their family or the people that love them, need them, and that's dependent on them.
Yeah. So I'm gonna start at the beginning, because you could basically, like, subconsciously as young men, we are selfish. Because even when we're living that lifestyle, we say we got to deal with the consequences and it's our life, but we put the people we love in jeopardy, because even without getting shot, when you go to jail, people are in gangs or they got their homies, your homie's not the one you calling. You calling your mom. Oh, mom, can you put money on my books? Mom, I need bail. So we putting this burden on our moms or our loved ones that love us. But when we're out doing it, we say, oh, it's my life. I'm gonna have to deal with the consequences. But we never deal with the consequences alone. Because even me getting shot, I dealt with the consequences physically, but mentally, my son had to see that. He was 8 years old at the time, 9 years old, might be just turning 9. He had to deal with that trauma of seeing his father shot up. My mom, my baby mom, everybody had to deal with my consequences. So we never really deal with our consequences alone. So as a young man or young men growing up in the urban societies, we think selfishly because we don't think about everybody that would be affected by the decisions we make, because we don't really think that far. It's not that we don't think it can happen to us. We leave that part out. We just think about the glorious things, because even when you see stuff on TV, you see the rappers with the jury, with the money, the cars, but you never see the grind. You never see when they had to be broke for 10 years, and you only see the glorious part. So even in the street life, we see the glorious things we want. We want to make money, we want the cars, but we don't see like, oh, if you go to jail, you got to deal with this, you got to put your family, be a burden on your family, you get shot up, you got to deal with the heartache of your family, or even life insurance. A lot of people in urban communities don't have life insurance. So even when we die, we're still a burden on our mothers and loved ones then, because they got to get up the money to pay for our funerals and stuff like that. So I would just tell my younger self to stop thinking so selfish or think about other people, because even subconsciously we're thinking selfishly when we say we're doing it for our kids. Because even as a hustler, oh, I'm doing this so my kids can live a better life, but the risk is not worth the reward, because your kid will rather you be in a house with them broke than you to be dead or in jail with money, or had money, or was able to provide for them. So I would just try to guide myself and give myself all the different outcomes on life, to look at life in a different aspect and know that it's not just about me. Because like, we look at it if we can handle it. Like, oh, if you get shot, can you deal? If you go to jail, can you deal with it? But we don't look at it like we're being a burden on the loved ones around us.
Can your mother deal with it? Can your son deal with it?
Yeah,
You know,
or
your
should
family.
they even be able to deal with it? They probably can, because my mother's a strong woman, my son, they probably able to deal, because once you're able to deal with it, you have no other choice. But is it right for them to be put in that situation? You understand what I'm saying? So we shouldn't even put our loved ones in that type of situation.
So let me ask you this. Even with having the insight of what you would tell yourself, do you think you would have listened?
Nah, I'm hard-headed. So some people got to learn on their own, but I feel like if I would have had better
Guidance,
guidance
insight.
or better opportunities, maybe I would have took a different path, because I was just like impatient. Because even growing up, I was good in sports. I went to the #1 school in Newark. I was smart in school, but I didn't have enough discipline, and I didn't have enough patience. I wanted things my way and the fast way. I didn't know that's why I say it's important to have a father, because you get that discipline. You know that stuff is not going to happen like that, and if I wanted it my way, so I'd rather take I'll just do it this way, because actually staying in school and doing things the right way is harder than going to the streets. So if I would have been taught more patience and discipline, I think I probably would have made better decisions.
So mentally, recognizing that your son actually had to witness and visually see his father in that condition, what do those conversations sound like as far as making sure that he land, and what was the conversation communicated? Two things, because you were shot again, right? But what was the conversation as far as, was there a conversation that I will never put you guys through anything like that again? Actually,
recently my son just turned 18, so my son's in high school, and he had got caught smoking a vape, a weed pen. So actually I had to think to myself, and I felt like I actually failed my son, because I was so busy worrying about what I had going on, I didn't even stop to think like this was a traumatic experience that my son visualized. Because in the black community, we don't understand that. Even as I go back to when I was a child, my uncle died when I was 9 years old, the same age I got shot up in front of my son. And my mom, I was only 9 years old, so I didn't really have a big bond, a great bond with my uncle, but me seeing my mother cry every day and making a shrine to my uncle, and my grandmother and my aunts, and seeing the pain that my uncle getting murdered caused on my family made me angry. You understand what I'm saying? And I never got help. I never talked to nobody. I didn't even, at that age, I didn't know how to express it. So that I held on to that anger. So as I fast forward to me getting shot and I'm dealing with everything I'm dealing with, and I never stopped to think to ask my son how he felt or to get him help, because even with that situation, when I got shot the 18 times, I was in the hospital. About 3 days of me being in the hospital, my kid's mom went to drop him out to school. After she dropped him out to school, she was on her way back to the hospital to see me. Crown Vic pulled her over, like the Crown Vic cop cars. They pulled her over. They walked up to the car. They said, "We know what you did," and handcuffed her. She said at that moment when he did that, she knew something wasn't right. So they handcuffed her, tried to pull out the car. She was actually pregnant with my son, who's now 10 years old now. She was pregnant with him. They pulled out the car. They tried to pull her into the car, and she started yelling and fighting them, and she like fell on the ground, put her legs under the car, and started screaming, and people started coming out the houses, and they got scared and drove off. So they tried to kidnap my kid's mom.
So it wasn't the cops?
No, it wasn't the cops.
Okay.
It was people. It was regular guys trying to kidnap her. So the actual cops came. She still had the cuffs on her. So I was dealing with so much that I didn't even stop to realize that this affected my child, and I didn't even ever get him help. And now that we fast forward to now, he got caught smoking and things, and I had to talk with him, and there's a lot of trauma times and events that happened that we didn't really deal with.
So a lot to unpack, man, and I definitely want to get into you know, what you're doing with your story in its totality, and you told me some of those things. But let's get into, you know, the second time. What was the second situation? What was the second scenario?
So the second scenario was in 2018. It was actually 2 months after my older brother. My older brother had got murdered. So he got murdered March 1st. So 2 months later, May 4th, me and the girl that I was on the phone with the first incident, it was actually me and her sitting in her parking lot, and a guy came up and started shooting from the passenger again, and I guess before he actually got to the car, the bullet went through the door and hit her in her side. So then once he got to the window, he actually put his arm in the window, and I got shot like 4 times in the chest, 2 in the arm, 1 under the arm. And so I got out the car that time too. I actually ran around the car, and he ran off. So I came back to the car, and she was like laid across, like not breathing. So they said the bullet hit her, she couldn't breathe, and she had died in the car. So my friend was in the back seat with his, I think his son was about 3 years old at that time. So nobody in the back seat got shot. So he actually got out the car and ran to his car. So as I'm standing there, I think I actually called my mom after I seen she wouldn't get up, and I started walking to walk out the parking lot, and he pulled up on me and put me in the car and drove me to the hospital.
All right. So it's a lot to unpack, right? So what I want to do, because I'm sure the viewers and everyone that's watching, they have a lot of different questions, right? So it's one thing for someone to consistently, people try to physically harm you, right? But of course, it's things that you're doing in your life, you know, like whether you're causing harm to other people, or it could be finances or whatever the case, but it's a lot going on. And I'm kind of thinking about some of the questions. And again, Sessions with Dash is not about me judging anyone, right? Because it takes empathy and it takes compassion for us to take these stories and say, how can we learn from them, right? So what are the teachable lessons with your story? Where is the gold in your story? You know, how do we take these situations and scenarios and create inspiration? How do we create guidance, right? How do we create teachers, right? So it's some young men out there that I probably can't get to, but it's some young men that you could probably get through. You know, when it comes to how social media works, when it comes to how music works, when you think about 50 Cent and, you know, how he captivated the world with being shot 9 times, you know, and so it's so many young men in inner cities that it's just normal, right? So it's normal, like you said, okay, my uncle died, and this person died, and this person got shot. So can you bring people into the reality of, and what year was that?
My uncle, I mean.
Yeah, like the second time.
The second time was 2018.
right? And what was the first time?
2016.
Okay, so that wasn't like, for the world watching, if you bring people into Newark and the violence of Newark, sometime it was 200, 300 murders. So bring people into the environment, right? Because people could look at you, judge you, hear you telling this story. Oh, he got shot these many times. He must have been out there doing the same thing, selling drugs. So it's like some people don't have empathy for people in certain situations and circumstances. So can you unpack your situation, your circumstances?
But that's a fact. But because even when I tell my story, I don't tell it for people to have empathy for me, because I was involved in the streets. I'm not in a gang. I wasn't selling drugs, but I actually was robbing drug dealers. So everything that happened to me in my life, I feel like was causes of choices that I made. So when I tell my story, I don't tell it for empathy. I tell it so I can save the lives of other kids, because I do the risk with the reward factor, and the risk is really never worth the reward. And that's how I actually got into the things that I was doing that was getting me into what I was getting into. Because when I went to prison in 2014, I got caught with a gun, so I got a 5 with a 3. So in 2014, I went to prison. I came home in 2016 because I got locked up, I think, in 2012, so I had time in. So in 2016, when I came home, well, let me back up. I was in Talbot Hall, so they do like the risk with the reward factor. So when I was in Talbot Hall, you know, they give you classes. So they was, you know, normally people, if they trying to rob somebody, you get a gun, you go to their house, you take them in the house, you make them tell you where the safe at and all that. So right there, just from, God forbid you get caught, that's kidnapping, home invasion, a gun. So you're looking at 20 to 30 years. So I said, you know what's a better way to make my risk worth the reward? So I said, instead of doing all that, what I'll do is I'll watch people, I'll put a track on their car, I see who lives there, I see what time everybody leaves, and then I'll go break in the house and get what I need to get. Because worst case scenario, if I get caught in Essex County, where I'm from, is probation, 364, those are the consequences of a burglary. So my thought process was, I know every drug dealer keeps money in the house. Like, even if you got another place you keep money, you got to keep money on hand in the house for things like that. So I targeted only drug dealers. I thought that I was doing something morally right in the process of me still doing something bad. So I said, I'm not going to rob regular working people. I'm only going to target drug dealers. So what I would do is I would target drug dealers, and then I would go rob them. So that's what ended up causing a lot of problems in my life. So
what influenced that, though? Like, as far as, like you said, you played sports, right? Football, whatever. So growing up, having influence, being inspired by sports, and then that shift happening. So what was it for you? What was it for you, as far as, was it money, or like what created that shift?
It was just that lifestyle. Like growing up, even when I was 5 years old, I memorized Tupac Shakur songs. Like, Tupac was my favorite rapper growing up. When he died, I was 6 years old. I actually cried, like real tears. My uncle had to jump out the shower and take me and calm me down. I actually tried to run out there. Like, I really loved Tupac Shakur. So even listening to Tupac's music and looking at my uncle, idolizing my uncle, like, that's the reason why I never joined the gang. Because, you know, back in the day, the gangsters didn't respect the gang culture. So my uncle, that's why I say subconsciously, like, as a family, black families, we put things in our kids' mind without even meaning to do it. Because my mother and my aunt, they always would talk about my uncle, like, yeah, your Uncle Khalif, he didn't respect that gang stuff. He was thorough, he was tough. So by them telling me that made me idolize my uncle, and that made me not want to not be in the streets. But oh, you know what? I'm not gonna be a punk and join a gang. I'm gonna stand on my own. And I still looked up to that type of lifestyle. So I don't even think necessarily it was about the money. It was about just that lifestyle that I wanted to live. But once I started to rob, that was about the money, because I knew that it really didn't make sense to me, because I wasn't like privileged to have a connect or an uncle or somebody that was in the streets to give me packs or drugs that I could make money from. So my standing on it really didn't make sense. You risking standing on the corner making that little bit of money. So I said, I'll target the people who's really making money, and I'll take the money from them. So that's what gave me the idea to start doing it that way.
So Let me get this, I'll ask you for this insight. When you were shot or when you were in those moments, what was the situation? Because people always communicate what they felt or what was happening. Like, so what were your conditions mentally? What was your process? Like, was it a light? Do people, like, when people always communicate stuff like that?
I never seen a light. I
No.
mean, I just remember the first time I told you I was up the whole time. I was communicating with my mom and my sister and my mom and my baby mom. Once the ambulance finally came, they let my mother ride with me. So I was asking, I'm like, Mom, you good? So I remember everything up to that point when I actually got in the operating room, and then everything from there. Once I was asking the doctor, I said, am I going to die? He actually got aggravated with me because he said, no, I said, am I going to die? So after that, they put it on my face. I went out. I don't remember nothing from that point on until I woke back up like 3 days later. Because I think they put me in a induced coma because I think my temperature was too high. They had to put me in an ice bath and all that. So once I woke up, I just remember they had the tubes all down my mouth. I couldn't talk. My mom and everybody was in the room, and I was trying to talk. So she got the paper and she went through every letter, and I spelled out, "Am I okay?" And so blacking out and seeing a light, I ain't experienced none of that.
So physically, like, how are you? Like, physically, did everything go normal, regular? Like, or do you have any?
Yeah, I was actually blessed. The second time, I actually had nerve damage in my right arm, but they did the surgery, got that together. So besides that, I had I didn't have a colostomy bag. I was just blessed.
Okay. So speaking of that, man, and it's a powerful word. You say you're blessed. So what are you going to do with this blessing? You know, what are you going to do with this continuation of life? Some people get shot one time, right? Some people get into a car accident. Some people, not simple, but everyday things, and they're gone. So the fact that you've been shot 25 times, you know, the fact that and probably other situations that probably was near death for you. What are you going to do now? What are you trying to do? I know you were talking about creating a channel and sessions with Dash again. And in real time, just having this conversation. So I definitely want to touch on improving and genuinely connecting to these stories and these young men that's actually living it in real time. But again, like, so what are you doing, and what do you plan on doing with this blessing that you have?
So with the blessing, me and my mom she has a organization called Like Mother Like Sons, and we actually started it was during COVID. We did healing through poetry. So we'll actually get on Zoom and people will give their thoughts of things they've been through. But we actually go into the school system to talk to the kids, to the at-risk youth, or to kids period, and tell them our life stories and try to deter them from taking the street route, because I don't agree with squashing beefs or trying to stop grown men, because once you reach a certain age, your mind is made up and you made decisions that really can't be. There's really no working out. So I try to get the kids to not go down the same path that I went through, because what I've been through already I made my bed, so I have to lay in it. You understand? So. And even with like Tut, I was actually talking to Tut. He has New Direction, and he tries to squash beef. And I had a conversation with him. I said, I don't really feel comfortable telling another man, like, yo, stop. The beef is over, because you never know what another man is thinking. If you, let's say, killed somebody's brother and then you come to squash the beef and he acts like he want to squash the beef, and just for you to put your guard down, and he never forgave you for killing his brother and then kill you. So I don't really get involved with stuff like that. I just feel like I could try to talk to the youth to try to stop them before they even go down that path. Like, that's what I feel like my blessing, for God blessing me, that's what my gift would be, to give back to the youth, to stop them from going down a certain path.
So as you're working with different organizations and schools, do you ever feel like you're being judged when you unpack and tell your full story?
I really never really think about it, because I know that this is what God blessed me, and I'm a product of my circumstances and my environment. So no one could really judge me because they haven't really been through what I've been through. They could give their opinion, and they're entitled to their opinion. But I know I made certain decisions, and I hold myself accountable for the decisions I made. I'm not in denial, saying like, I did this, or woe is me, or God. But I know that every decision I made is a cause and effect of everything. So I mean, their judgment really don't matter to me, because my purpose is to get the message to the youth. So long as the youth understand and they get the message, I really don't care about the judgment from other people.
So long term as well, what do you want that to look like as far as youth organizations, different programs? What do you want the next 5 years, 10 years to look like if everything is as successful as you expect?
Well, I actually want to get with my mom and put together the book because my brother that was murdered, he actually was a rapper. So we actually took his songs from his lyrics and put it in the book. My mom's a poet. And then actually the second time I got shot, I actually got locked up because I had a gun in the car. So I already had a gun case, so the feds picked up my gun case. So I actually was on a federal bracelet because once I got shot, I was locked up for 2 months. My lawyer, if I wouldn't have got the surgery, I wouldn't have been able to use my arm again. So they put me on 24-hour house arrest, so I only could go out for court dates and to the hospital. So I was able to get the surgery. But while I was on the house arrest, my pretrial officer knew all the times I got shot, my brother passing, my friend passing. So she said, here's a book, you should write in a journal, like write your thoughts down. So as I started writing poetry. And it helped me like release, express what I was going through. So that's why me and my mom were trying to put together a book called Like Mother, Like Sons, with my brother's poems, hers and mine's, and we want to get that out. And we actually, I actually started a competition called the What If Challenge. I had did a poem, what if certain things happen, were different, and we actually did a challenge where people could compete, and we actually gave a winner to I think ages 8 to 13, 14 to 16, and then 18 and older.
So let me ask you this, and this, because when I work with young men or whatever the case, do you understand love till its full capacity?
Yeah.
Did you love yourself when you were younger, you know, in the streets, whatever case? Do you feel like you loved yourself?
Yeah, I feel like with everything that I've been through, I feel like love is not just an emotion, it's about action. So you have to show somebody that you love them. So I can actually say I love myself, but then somebody could come back and say the actions or the decision you was making, you could tell that you don't love yourself. So love is like from a perspective. So I really wouldn't teach love, I would teach loyalty, because you can love somebody, and I go over a quote, I told you Tupac was my favorite rapper. He said fear is stronger than love, because all the love I showed didn't mean nothing when they came to blow my head off because they was in fear. So I feel like loyalty is stronger than love, because you can love somebody and be disloyal to them. You can love somebody and kill them because you love them so much and you caught them in a bed with somebody else. So love is just, I think we throw that word around too loosely. I think we have to be loyal to ourselves. I think we have to teach loyalty, and that's what I would go.
So bigger than love, you're saying that you're loyal to yourself right now.
Yeah.
Right? So you're fully loyal to yourself, and that's showing up. So the reason I'm asking this question, and I definitely love that reflection, because I would say self-love is a routine. I could say I love myself, and like you said, in a relationship we could say that we love people. But now the routine of self-love is I'm going to create habits and behaviors and patterns to prove to myself that I love myself. So a lot of people love themselves in words, they say it, but okay, now what do you put it in your body? What do you put it in your mind? What environments are you putting yourself in? I remember when I was younger, literally, you know, I remember one of my friends was shot, like literally his blood didn't even dry up off the ground. We right back in the same spot, literally stepping over the blood. But loving yourself, I'm not going out there. You know, and my son did that for me. My son gave me something to live for, to say I'm gonna think before I do everything. So that routine of loyalty. So I wanted to speak to that for the young men out there watching, you know, to encourage that level of loyalty, to think about your mother, to think about your children, to think about your tomorrow, and to think about, you know, the possibilities and things that we can do. So in closing, I'm not sure if it's anything else you want to add. I had a lot of other questions, but I want you to leave some of the things for your book, for your platforms. And you said if you could fill everyone in, well, you said you were starting a channel and everything. So definitely let everyone know where they could view you. And I'm sure they want to hear so much, you know, give feedback. If it's other details and different parts of the story, let them know where you'll be hosting these conversations.
All right. Well, my name is Carter St. Patrick on Instagram, and my mom's name is Healing Through Poetry. And I actually leave you with one of the my
Poem.
first poem that I
I was
did.
gonna ask you
Yeah.
anyway. I was gonna ask you anyway, man. We need that.
Yeah, the first poem. So this is the first poem that I actually wrote when she gave me the book. So I just reflected about what I was going through, and I just wrote my thoughts down. So I went from lonely tears on the top tier of a county pod to angry tears in a house in the bathroom contemplating suicide or homicide or genocide or any act of violence that I thought would ease the pain I feel inside. But it's like if you're walking through a rainstorm, no matter how big your umbrella is, some part of you still seems to get wet. And no matter how many acts of vengeance I think of in my head, I still can't escape the guilt or regret. It's like the pain becomes a burden, and the burden gets too heavy to bear. I lost two great people I love to death in 2 months, but they say I should be thankful that I'm still here. That's really ironic looking at life from my perspective. But I mean, God, if you wanted to teach me a lesson, believe me, I got the message. It's almost impossible for me to rejoice and be thankful for life when two key factors of my life have been snatched away. And the hurt, anger, and malice that have filled my heart makes it difficult for me to pray. But I haven't lost faith and I won't question God, and no, I don't blame him. Oh, but how I wish he could have spared Eric and Kelly and let me be their guardian angels. Eric and Kelly, I'm so sorry for the misery I brought upon y'all daughters. Life without y'all is going to be so hard for them, even with the help of supporters. I promise I would do...
No,
Let
go
me
ahead.
stop it.
You good?
I done messed up, man.
They gonna, you could go back in, you know what I'm saying?
Just
It's
go back,
real, yeah. You start from where you are, you could do it back over. I
Just
could
start
chop you
around.
in.
All right.
Yeah.
You know. Let me look at it. Yeah, fuck.
I was gonna
start?
ask you that too, as far as, what do they call that, survivor's remorse?
Yeah.
You go through that?
I mean, you still
Yeah,
taping?
yeah,
Or
no,
you-
we good.
Oh, hold on.
Don't worry about it. Like
Yeah,
everything
yeah.
get chopped up.
Ah, yeah, because I'll go back and do the poem later. Yeah.
No, I want you to do the poem still.
Oh, all right, yeah,
If
I'm
you want.
gonna go look at it. 'Cause I don't,
Oh, you don't remember it?
yeah, I done freaking forgot it. That
so
part.
Good. The way you say it is so captivating.
Thanks.
Very strong.
Yeah. So Sessions with Dash is looking through to find the words, and I encourage you guys, whether it's writing, whether it's speaking, like I tell you guys, that's how I tapped into my journey. When it comes to therapy, it's so many different forms of therapy. For me, psychotherapy is the best for me, and it's just the concept of just unpacking. So it's the same way when you do your laundry and you're looking for a shirt, and it's like you can't dig in that bag because there's so many clothes in the bag. Sometimes you have to unpack so you can find what it is that you're looking for. So that's what introduced me to social media. February 14th, 2021, that's when I started my TikTok. In the first month, I had 100,000 people because I had 2 to 3 years of conversations that I just shared and shared and shared, and I would listen to them. And I just really started putting them up. So these are the most intimate conversations of my life that I never would thought I would share with the world. And I never thought I would actually say them out loud outside of therapy. But the fact that people called me that I knew my whole life asking me was I okay, when this was actually the most balanced I have ever been, because I was getting some of the things out that I was holding in my whole entire life. So sharing this, talking about, again, Sessions with Dash, this is what I want to bring. And if you guys are out there and you want to be a guest, man, don't hesitate to reach out. We are all superstars and superheroes, and we are one story away, one conversation away from our life changing, and we are one conversation away from changing a life. So, let me know when you got the poem.
I'm ready.
Good? Yeah.
I went from lonely tears on the top tier of a county pod to angry tears in a house in the bathroom contemplating suicide or homicide or genocide or any act of violence I thought would ease the pain I feel inside. But it's like if you're walking through a rainstorm, no matter how big your umbrella is, some part of you still seems to get wet. And no matter how many acts of vengeance I think of in my head, I still can't escape the guilt or regret. It's like the pain becomes a burden, and the burden gets too heavy to bear. I lost 2 great people I love to death in 2 months, and they say I should be thankful that I'm still here. That's really ironic looking at life from my perspective. But I mean, God, if you wanted to teach me a lesson, believe me, I got the message. It's almost impossible for me to rejoice and be thankful for life when two key factors of my life have been snatched away. And the hurt, anger, and malice that have filled my heart makes it difficult for me to pray. But I haven't lost faith and I won't question God, and no, I don't blame him. Oh, but how I wish he could have spared Eric and Kelly and let me be their guardian angels. Eric and Kelly, I'm so sorry for the misery I brung upon your daughters. Life will be so hard for them even with the help of supporters. I promise I will give them my last as if they were my own kids, and that's from the bottom of my heart. I will do whatever I can to bring light upon their lives, even if it means I will have to live in the dark. Now faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. But I lost substance and hope. So for me to talk to or hug Eric and Kelly, I'm forced to rely on my dreams. I can still hear Kelly's last scream so vividly in my head, and every other day it forces me to break down. I can still see Eric's last moments on the stretcher and me and my mother and sister standing around. They say time heals all pain, but that must be a quote that just sounds good, because every day my pain seems to hurt me deeper. I couldn't protect my brother when he needed me most in his life, and I'm supposed to be my brother's keeper. I just want to cut this CMB off my chest and bury it with my brother. I know she would never admit it in a million years, but I know this is the worst pain I caused my mother. Kelly, you always said I was your protector and Superman, and I never told you, but that made me proud. I'm so sorry I couldn't save you, and you know how much I valued our friendship, and I don't know how I'm going to survive without you around. And no, I don't need pity, because I would never let the devil break me. I'm too strong, I'm not weak. I just refused to talk to a therapist who's a stranger, so I spilled my bitter and angry thoughts on this sheet.
And I was about to ask you that, man. I was about to ask you that. I was going to ask you, did you go to therapy? What do you think about that? Do you feel like, because I get it, right? Sometimes we go through painful and traumatic moments, and to sit across with someone that, studies the DSM and they study a book, but they will never be able to live a day in the shoes of the trauma that you endured and survived. Mm-hmm. So I get that perspective, but I'm not speaking that perspective. But how do you process that? Do you say they can't help me? Like, what is your perspective?
I mean, I feel like different strokes for different folks. I feel like in my situation, they won't, the way I analyze, the way I think, I don't think that they will be able to help me. I think like certain people with things they go through, they're able to open up. And it's like, because I feel like if you're not able to open up completely and express yourself completely free of like it won't work. So it's like, even if I go there, you can't tell them certain thoughts or certain ways you're feeling. So it's like, I will be hindering myself because I'll be like, oh no, I can't, I don't want to say this, or I can't. So I don't feel like I will really get it. Like I won't get what I need. So I feel like me just expressing myself, writing down my thoughts through my poetry, expressing how I feel, letting it out that way, I feel like that's a big help for me. Because I feel like once I start writing my poetry and expressing how I feel like I can have conversations with God. Like I got poems with what I feel like God would say to me. I got poems with a conversation with my brother and my friend that passed away, and what I think they'll say back to me called the conversation. So I feel like I'm able to express myself that way, and that really helps me a lot. But I feel like therapy is good for certain people. It helps a lot of people. But I just feel like in my situation, the way I handle it is best for me.
So man, first I want to say I'm proud of you. You know what I'm saying? Just met you today. I'm proud of you for changing your life. I know how hard that could be. And we need you on this side. You know what I'm saying? We'll need you putting trackers on cars, you know what I'm saying? Put trackers on your purpose, man. Mm-hmm. Put trackers on your destiny. And I thank you, man. I thank you for being a part of this platform. And I'm building it up, but we're gonna be millions and millions and millions of views, but bigger than millions of views, man. If you could impact one life, change one soul, that is the blessing. So I thank you for sharing your gift. I thank you for sharing your story. And keep going, man. keep going. Stay locked in. Stay focused, man. Let me know when you create your platform. If you need help with books and stuff, I wrote my book in October. Well, okay. My book was finished. When the little boy is healed, the man will show up. So phenomenal. Also released 5 ebooks in February. So it's crazy that the month just flew like that. So I said, I tell my story. My story, man, I've been through a lot of trauma, mental health facilities, foster homes. I was molested at 6 years old, grew up without a father, graduated from high school, couldn't read the diploma. So as fast as I can communicate and say all of that, those words was trapped in my soul, and that was the pain. And I learned from you know, watching the world, watching me lose friends. So it wasn't like I had to dibble dabble and experiment with everything. You know, I've seen a lot, been through a lot, and that's my mission, man. That's my mission and my journey, and that's what I'm currently doing now, man. So I'm grateful to have you on the platform, and I genuinely mean it, because sometimes we don't hear that. We don't hear, man, I'm proud of you, right? No judgment, no inner conversations, because you know, I get it when we're out in the world, and it's like we have those two doors, and we don't have the inner conversation or the inner love to make the right decision. And sometimes the wrong decision is the right decision for our tomorrow. So it's a lot of things that I did wrong in the moment, but I'm so grateful that I had the experience, because it gave me insight and reflection to be the person that I am today. So, you know, I look forward to you building and growing and changing lives.
And I appreciate you for having me on your platform, because even with you being able to express what you've been through and the traumas you dealt with, and not look down on me or judge me, because, you know, like you said, do I feel like people judge me when I go to the schools? You know, you might be like, oh, he's in the streets, he brought that on himself. Like, my situation was different. I was a child, I couldn't deal with it. So even for you to let me come on this platform and express what I've been through and not look down on me, we need more black men like you, and I appreciate you.
No, that's real, man. So give us your feedback, please, man. Let us know. This is actually going to be, other than the poem thing, but I think that'll still be good to put that up, because you know, we shot these episodes and clips. But, you know, I'm going to have psychologists, even if you would like to come on again, like, 'cause I'm going to have therapists, psychologists, and I would like to, like, see that dynamic live because, you know, I advocate for mental health, so I do sessions as well, but I speak to that conversation. I speak to that conversation because I always say healing is allowing your mind to catch up with your heart, right? Sometimes we go through painful situations that we don't want to feel again, that we don't want to see again, so we create these walls in our mind, in our heart, and they say if you don't address your childhood trauma, your romantic relationship will. So it's things that we feel like we could do on our own, but then when you try to love again, when you try to connect again, you have that trapped trauma that's not allowing you to be your whole self. And you know, you're still growing and you're still developing. So there's no permanent I. I'm gonna give you this perspective. You got Facebook?
Nah.
Yeah. Did you ever have Facebook? All right. So you just got your Instagram.
Yeah.
So on Facebook, right, they show you memories from 5 years ago. And you see these old pictures, 5 years, 10 years, and you're like, man, what the hell was I wearing, right? But 10 years ago, you thought that was, you know what I'm saying? But it's like, if we had something like that to pop up and give us that reflection of our life, we wouldn't connect to that version of us from 10 years ago. So you're blessed to be here, and, you know, God willing, you're gonna have 10 more, 20 more years. This you now, you're gonna be able to look at you, and there's gonna be so many things that it's not about judging yourself. You're gonna be able to laugh, you're gonna be able to cry, you're gonna be able to smile with that mature knowledge, wisdom, and just everything that life is gonna build and develop with you through that time. So, like, I live with that perspective though. I always try to, like, watch myself from different pieces of myself, and I try to add to me with that 10-year version that I'm looking back. You know what I'm saying? Because most of the time we could do that. If you look at yourself 10 years ago, like, what would you do? What would you change? Now you could look at yourself, if everything go right, but I don't do the if. I say everything is gonna go right. I'm gonna be what I wanna be. And I look at that like grounding and rooting, right? So when you plant a seed or a tree, we don't dig it up and go, man, is this growing? Nah, all right, that's gonna grow. I just gotta do my part. I gotta water it, nurture it, and it's gonna grow. So if I have a dream, I have a purpose, I do that part. I know it's gonna grow. So I live today like I already seen tomorrow. And I respect myself that much. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, and it's so funny because I'm consciously, like, you're only worth your memory. You know what I'm saying? So whatever you created in life that people could say about you, that's what they're gonna say when you're not here. You know what I'm saying? So thank you guys for watching. Let them know where they could, so you said your Instagram, your books, or just whatever, your poetry, if they wanna book you, you know?
Well, I don't let them book me.
You don't let them book you yet?
Nah.
You gotta be ready, man. You know what I'm saying? You never know, man. You do 1 million views, you like, so he's still developing and growing, but you know, his future self will be ready to be So no foster homes, jails, or library. Like people want to like book you. Like you don't do none of that.
I mean, I probably once like through the organization, through my mom's organization, I probably do it, but just book me because that's something I didn't get into too. Like I was going through a lot. So I know once you change your life, right? A lot of people say once people change their life, they die, but I feel like they die because they let their guard down. So even when I was in the streets, you know, it was rumors people had money on my head and stuff like that. So I don't put myself in certain positions. That's why my mom. That's like why we didn't get certain things off the ground because she be like kind of scared, like oh. What if people try to come? But I walk with God, so I'm not worried about none of that. But I don't do little stuff like that unless, like, if we going through the organization, like going into schools and like you said, foster home stuff like that. Yeah, I'll do that. But I'll go through like my mom. So that's why I said my mom's name is on Instagram is Healing Through Poetry. On TikTok she got Like Mother Like Sons, and her name is actually Elaine Lee. So on she has a Facebook that's Elaine Lee. So through the organization I'll book it, but I don't really like.
Okay. I got you. Well, thank you guys for joining. If you have never been 100% completely honest out loud, then you have never been yourself in the presence of anyone.
Sessions, yes.